when you live by the seaside in England, you grow up living on fish and chips literally for breakfast. Hey everyone, it's Barry here. Hope you're well wherever you are in the world. Today we're doing another cookbook corner, and this is today's cookbook. This is the As Cooked on TikTok cookbook. It was very kindly sent to me over Christmas. Thank you very much. You know who you are. It is basically a compilation, an annual. I love an annual. Christmas, I used to love getting an annual. Do they still do annuals? But this is a TikTok cookbook. It's a compilation of different creators that have put the recipes on there, and I was like, I don't know about this. I will say, the one thing I don't like about it is nearly all of the recipes are now on TikTok by other people. So, but it's nice to have something tangible, isn't it? However, the recipes look awesome. So it's quite a brightly coloured book. There's a red page. There's like a real mix of everything. It's not just like breakfast or vegan or meat or just drinks. There's a real, I don't know, like paella. I think there is a paella in here. There's a real paella of recipes, and it's all kind of like creative. I like it. It's got foreword by Gordon Ramsay. It's got some burnt cheesecakes, very nice. Cloud bread, but I made that years ago. Pretty cool though. I nearly did this. Sweet chili smashed Brussels sprouts. Bang bang shrimp. Salt and vinegar pasta chips. I did pasta chips actually. This is what I find. There's a lot of recipes in there that are very popular, just with little twists on them. And this one looked really good. This is kind of like a twist on mac and cheese, but with corn. But I wanted to do something a little bit more cheeky. And being the cheeky seaside living British chap that I am, I wanted to do this. You see that? That is a fish and chip tortilla. So it's combining not only homemade fish and chips with peas and tartar sauce, but also one of them crazy TikTok 4-quarter wrap things which we did before, where you divide it up and fold it and have this epic thing. So it should look like that by the end. And that is what we're gonna do right now. Ooh. This is definitely one of those recipes where you look at it and be like, oh my gosh, the ingredients list is putting me off, but you're breaking it down into the tartar sauce, the peas, the chips, and the fish with the batter. Doesn't tell me to do this, but I'm gonna use this to speed it up. I'm gonna just get the tartar sauce done just to kind of whiz it and keep it in the fridge. I bought a massive jar of mayonnaise, some lemon juice. In here is some chopped parsley. I've talked about this before. We sometimes get the stuff in the frozen aisle like that. It's just already chopped for you. The garlic comes in really handy, but they didn't have that today. This is a bit of shallot. Now it says 2 tablespoons of minced pickles, which is obviously gherkins. Now these are the gherkins from the hacks video where we marinated them in spices. So we are gonna get an extra cheeky kick of flavour in there with that. Oh. And last up, if I can get them out, oh my gosh, it's going everywhere. These are capers, all right? They look a little bit like peas. Well, they're not. Taste like peas.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Boom. Ooh. Oh, that is intense. That's going to be really nice. So I'll add a little bit of pepper in, and we'll bung this in the fridge. All right, folks, we're gonna We're gonna walk on the potatoes. We're gonna work on the potatoes now. I like to always keep the skin on my potatoes. It's just a personal preference of mine. But basically, we're just gonna cut them nice big chunky ones. All right, there we go. It's not telling me to do this, but I'm just gonna wash a little bit of the starch off. That is cold water, and bring them up to a boil. I keep looking at this, going, oh my gosh, I hope it looks like that. I just can't work out, like for that. And for this, like, you gotta fold it 4 ways, and how is that in the same section? I'm not that smart to understand that right now. But hey, we'll find out. Oh, the other thing to say, this guy, the recipe we did where we made him his own little pie, he absolutely adored me and stood by my side relentlessly for the rest of the day, didn't you, mate? And he knows that the rest of it is in the freezer. All right, we're gonna make the beer batter. I don't know too much about beer batter. I think it's something to do with the alcohol in beer, not only the color and the flavor, but I think alcohol evaporates faster than water, so it needs a shorter cooking time, and you get a real nice crispness on there. So, flour, and then some flavorings. Paprika, oh, I love paprika. Boom. Baking powder, so a little bit like the Kentucky air fried chicken the other day. This should hopefully help with the bubbling and give it that nice sort of poppy, crispy texture. And for some reason, this recipe's got curry powder in it. So I've never had that in batter before. That'd be interesting. Bit of salt in there as well, and some pepper. So I've just got this beer. This is like an IPA that I saw in the supermarket. I just like the colour of the can. It looked pretty cool. As you can see, it's quite a light beer. You wouldn't think I used to work in a bar. I can pour a pint. It's just I just dumped it at that angle. I remember when the pumps, when I worked in a pub, used to go flat. They'd be like, yeah, just pour the pint and stir it around a bit. And it would generate this temporary head. And you'd be like, there you go. And like a lot of people would be too drunk to realise. But anyhow, we are going to add this in 50% batches, all right? And that is a whisk worth taking. I'm going to use that line a lot. I've just added a little bit more flour to it because I like my batter thicker, and that was quite runny, and I've still got about 70 ml left, but I don't want it too droopy, so I'm going to stick with this. All right, so that is our paprika curry beer batter going in the fridge. Yeah. So this is what we've got to do with the fish. Apparently I've just got some kitchen towel and already sort of patted it dry. Pat! EastEnders pun. So that is nice and dry, and it does help. It actually says this in the book as well. If your fish is at room temperature, it will help with the batter too. But we've got a little bit of salt. Hey, haven't done that for a while. Because some people don't like it when they're They're like, stop promoting a man that does expensive restaurant food. But we are gonna just lightly salt this fish. And what I will say about the fish is this was the only bit of fish they had left in the supermarket. I went to the supermarket hours last night and the veg and the fruit was completely barren. And I was asking, I was like, wow, what is going on? And apparently it's something to do with, in the UK, when the weather's terrible, we tend to get our food from Spain and other countries, like I think some parts of Africa. But because the weather's been so horrendous, a lot of the crops and things haven't grown as much. So there is actually a shortage. Some supermarkets, I didn't know this until I Googled it. This is in the news yesterday. Apparently there's a lot of supermarkets are rationing things, but then that was the same answer I got for the fish. And I was like, no, but this is packaged fish. You don't grow a fish. Yeah, that's my little fish story. Maybe I should have said tail. Whoa. There we are. Put my lid on top just to kind of steam dry it. And now we'll work on that fish. All right, we are just about there. The oil is getting nice and warm. I'm not using my basket. I'm gonna get it out with tongs, and I've got a bit of a rack there from the oven, which we're gonna preheat now to an extremely low 90 degrees, and it's not even the fan. I'm just having the warm oven on so that we can keep the fish warm once it fries, because we're gonna use the fryer again to make the chips. Or you could just bake the chips or air fry the chips. You could probably make this whole thing in an air fryer. I'm not going down that route today. Okay, so this is some more plain flour. You might see there a few specks of salt and pepper in there, so it's slightly seasoned. We'll take the fish that we've dried and coat it. Don't want to completely flour it, not antiquing it. But just enough there, okay? All right, so this batter is a little thicker. Can you see that? Just looks like a paprika mayonnaise, which would be amazing. Plonking it in there. Oh my gosh. And we can just let it drip dry a little bit. All right, and then in. We're frying, folks. That is looking amazing. Look at that. You've got this amazing puffy golden color on there. That is stonking. Ah. I don't know how that's gonna fit in a tortilla though, but we'll worry about that in a bit. I've never felt so un-British though. It's fish and chips, but that curry smell is strong in that, and I'm not against it. I'm intrigued. Oh, folks, you know what? This piece might be the one we use just because you gotta fold it up. All right, so that is on a wire rack to get some circulation underneath it. That's gonna go in there just to keep warm. I really hope after all of this, like, we make it look good. If it doesn't, I'm very confident it's gonna taste insanely good. Right, next up, the mushy peas. And making them in a frying pan, as it suggests, is one of my most favorite ways to do it, because you can squish down the peas and get like a little bit of manual mush. So we've got another shallot. We've got some garlic clove. We've got some butter. This is some mint that I've just chopped. I've got peas. Got some chili, and again, this is the stuff that's in the freezer aisle, so it's chili that you've not got to get all in your eyes and stuff. Don't put it in your eyes, I'm sure you don't do that. The other thing we've got is vinegar. I've never really done that with peas before, but definitely adds to the whole fish and chip thing. Like salt and vinegar on your chips in the UK, oh. Maybe I'm just overdoing it because I live by the seaside. I've literally, when you live by the seaside in England, you grow up living on fish and chips literally for breakfast. Heston Blumenthal, actually, in his restaurant, when he served fish and chips, he had like salt and vinegar spray that he would like spray in the air to give that essence that you're actually living by a 70-mile-an-hour windy seaside resort. Story of my life. The other thing we need is some olive oil, and this is some of the stuff from the cheap versus steep. This canister, I forget, I think it was like 30 quid. Sensational. So these should be some pretty good peas. All right, so it's saying to get the olive oil pouring away, pound notes there. Like that alone was probably like £2 worth of this stuff. Okay, we add in the chili, and then for the time being, just the shallot. All right, beautiful. So that's only been a minute. In goes the garlic as well. I have never made mushy peas with chili before. This is new to me. Stick that butter in, push on some mint, and of course, mushy peas need peas. I suddenly feel like I'm beside the seaside. All right, beautiful. Hopefully you can see that. That butter has browned, so it's at this stage it's telling me to add the final ingredient, which is the vinegar. And there is a part of me as we do this, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, we've just like ruined it. We poured like a mountain of vinegar in, but we're gonna trust the process. It's definitely very tangy on the nostrils right now. Lovely stuff. Right, I've got my potatoes ready in a basket, warming tuck back up. Definitely my nasal hairs are dancing right now. So that's the peas then, and if you want, you don't have to do this, you can keep the normal peas, but we're gonna just mush them a little bit. And I thought, why not? We can use a spatula, but I've got my little potato masher. So not completely destroying them, just kind of like gently leaning on them with a gigantic metallic device. So in the oven, obviously we've got the fish. We've kind of replicated a fish and chip shop right there. And the only other thing to cook is the chips any moment now. But one other thing to think about is our tortilla, right? So I've got the biggest tortilla wrap I could find. And you can easily make them yourself if you want. These are just flour tortillas wrapped in foil, sticking them at the bottom of the oven, just to keep warm. Ideally, this is all best served warm, apparently, but that rarely happens for me. So it's all about cooking the chips up now, and we'll be ready to go. And if you enjoy the Cookbook Corner playlist, and you've got any cookbook ideas to send me links to, and I'll get them myself, or some of you have been very kind and sent me them. In fact, I think you guys are very keen for me to do a recipe from the Friends cookbook. I've never really watched Friends, so I don't know which one. So those of you that sent it, or anyone that's got it, I think the trifle was in there. But I don't know how close to the real thing it is. I think it's actually a nice trifle recipe. So maybe I'll just pick, like I've done today, my one that I would personally want to do, and that's probably going to be our next one. All right, and one thing to say, apart from a teeny bit of batter, there isn't much in there. So in go the potatoes. I called them potatoes again. At what point did they become chips? Cook them for about 5 to 6 minutes. I mean, they're already cooked. We're just hopefully crisping them up. And remember, I've got the skin on. Some of that might fall off. That's my choice. Don't you hate it when your skin falls off? And then we can build this beast. We've done everything. Oh. Well, here we go then, folks. Tuck's out the way, everything's cooling down. Can we just reflect for a moment? Obviously, we've got to try and make it look like this. I don't know if it fully will. But on its own, in isolation, we've got the tartar sauce, we've got the chips, we've got the fish, we've got the peas, and of course, we can't forget our warmed tortillas. On its own, on a plate, it would be fine. I think it would be incredibly delicious. But let's try and do it. Let's try and fold this up right now and see if we can make it look at least a thing. Let's go. You take your tortilla wrap. Even this is the biggest one I've got, and it's not quite. I just want it to like be enormous, like a car tire size. You take one cut, okay, in the middle backwards like this, okay? So then you can fold it like that, and then like that, and then back on itself into one epic triangle. I think it's gonna have to be this bit. Then the peas go here. I guess this is probably a good reason that they're not fully round either, because if they're a little bit flatter, they're gonna have a bit more surface area and less desire to potentially move. All right, so we now add the chips. You with me so far? And now in this last section, potentially the easiest thing, because it's a fluid, we have got the tartar sauce to push down. This is probably gonna get a bit messy, but hey ho. All right, it's kind of like a puzzle, but effectively we're gonna have a folded stuffed triangle. So fish goes first onto the peas like this. That goes across. Are you with me? Then goes down like that. Oh my gosh. It doesn't look completely like their photo, but I'll bloomin' take it. And I'm a bit disappointed because the last layer is the tartar sauce and my hand's getting covered in it. Can I push that around? Look at that. I'm just gonna go for it, folks. Straight in, right down the middle. Tartar sauce, minty peas, fish and chips, and of course the tortilla. Mmm. Oh my word. Why is something so heavy and messy so light? I think it's the batter. It's like a real nice crispiness to it. There's still that hint of curry in there. I'm sorry about my face. That is extreme comfort food. All those little extra efforts we made on the tartar sauce and the minty peas as well. It tastes exactly how I hoped it would, and I think that's the best way of summarizing it. It's really clean and tidy to eat as well. So folks, I am putting some of my own videos, like shortened old school videos, on TikTok from time to time. This is by somebody called Shafara on there. So amazing, but I did look on there and there are other people that have actually done this as well, and it is honestly phenomenal. I really like the book. It's not really set for something if like you want a baking book or a dessert book, but if you want an all-rounder with some really quirky recipes in there, I think it's blooming awesome. So thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the Cookbook Corner playlist. Keep the ideas coming. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you did enjoy it. And of course, I'll see you next time. Ciao for now. And Boston might have just had a chip. Not quite the same as a pie, but he approves.